and welcome to live coverage of the 24th edition of La Flèche Wallonne Huy, the Mur de Huy, the Wall of Huy, the famous climb, 130.5 kilometers today. You join us for round 7 of the Women's World Tour, and the big question today is, will this race eventually be named the Ronde van Anna van der Breggen? She is a 6-time winner of this race. Can Marianne Vos equal her record today? Last year's race, and what a race it was when we look back to this one. Rain, it was October when we came into this race last year, and as usual, all decided on the Mur de Huy. Breakaway groups throughout the race. Bull Dolmans, you can see there, looking to deliver. Anna van der Breggen at number 1 in that rainbow jersey, and it would be one of the first victories in that new rainbow jersey. Hannah Barnes did a great job trying to deliver Cassia Nuviadoma into the climb. It was Longo Borghini, Vollering, Uttrup, Ludwig, Lippe, all up there. Demi Vollering, now a teammate of Anna van der Breggen. This was a real breakthrough performance for the rider there on the left end with Parker Tel Valkenburg. But Anna van der Breggen, as he said, she has won this race every year since 2015. She knows where to go. She loves this climb and came through to take that victory ahead of Cecily Uttrup Ludwig. Demi Vollering hanging on there for a 3rd spot, just ahead of Lizzie Diagonal, Lisa Longo Borghini, Ashley Moolman-Passio, Michaeli Harbour, Liana Lippert, Marianne Vos and Cassia Nuviadoma.
And it started to rain, of course, so yeah, it was a hard race and I had to win. And yeah, I mean, the team did a lot for me this year. They were riding really, really good and hard, so I felt some pressure to finish it up this year.
There's your podium, so Anna van der Breggen ahead of Cecily Uttrup Ludwig and Demi Vollering, Martin McDonald and Danny Rowe with you to take you through today's race action. There you have it. Anna van der Breggen, the only winner since 2015. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot in 2014. Marianne Vos in 13. Evie Stevens there in 2012. Marianne Vos in 2011. But as he said, Marianne Vos is a 5-time winner of this race today. And what a race we have. The climbs along the route, the Côte de Ton, the Côte de Groin, the Côte de Hautbois, the Côte de Rive. Then you have the Mur de Huy for the first time. There's your winners. So the Netherlands with 11. Great Britain second with 4 victories. Of course, Nicole Cook. This really was her stomping ground when she was a pro rider. And it was her birthday last week. Danny, you've ridden this race many times. Team Bike Exchange, they got Amanda Spratt, they got Lucy Kennedy in here as well. Is it difficult? Is it difficult to look beyond the usual suspects today in terms of who can take this one?
I think it is, Marty, because it's such a pure race. There really is no hiding, and you cannot win if you don't have good form, especially with the finale as it is. It's not all about the Mur de Huy, but it's also about the penultimate climb, and I think that's really, really important. Of course, the Mur de Huy is such a brutal climb, but I think what that makes this race so exciting is that the climbs that come, you know, soon before the Huy itself. So we have obviously the penultimate climb, which this year comes at 9.5 kilometers before the Huy. So it's another opportunity for the riders to make it hard and set it up for whatever the team dynamic is and the best way for that team to win ultimately. But, you know, looking at the lineups today, it's going to be a really exciting race. I absolutely love it. It's a really tough one, but it was one of my favorites as a rider.
Yeah, we just saw SD Works on the start podium. What a team that they've got here today. Anna van der Breggen wearing number 1. This is the roller, but they have also got Ashley Moolman-Passio, Demi Vollering, and then the young pretenders, Niamh Fisher-Black, Anna Shackley, both phenomenal climbers are the SD Works team. So many options to play there. You saw Lisa Longo Borghini. She's back in the Italian national champions jersey today. Marianne Vos taking over after that victory in Amstel Gold. She's now at the top of the Women's World Tour, ahead of Longo Borghini and Van Vleuten. Let's talk you through the route. So heading out of Huy, And then, as we said, Danny, we go on to the climbs quite early at 54.2, covered the Côte d'Ivoire, and then they come in quite quick succession before the first climb of the Mur.
Yeah, absolutely, Marty. So we've got 2 laps of different circuits. The first being 95 kilometres with 5 climbs, including once up the Mur de Huy. And then the second lap, which is 31.5 kilometres, including the 3 climbs, ultimately finishing again up the Mur de Huy.
And the Mur de Huy itself averages 9.6, and then it's a kind of a bit of a fabled climb. It's the maximum gradient does say 19%. There's corners they say 26% as well, but all we know, it's a brutal climb. 12 just under 13 degrees Celsius for the riders today. Wind conditions we have 5 to 9 km/h northerly winds. Our breakaway group is Lucinda Brand, Elise Chabbey, and Great Britain's Anna Henderson. So the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Great Britain are in your breakaway group. So Canyon Stram, Trek Segafredo, and Jumbo Visma are your breakaway group. 39.4 kilometers to go. 32 seconds is your time gap back from our trio of leaders to the peloton behind. Our breakaway group here in La Flèche Wallonne is just reaching into the pockets, looking for a feed in this one. Round 7 of the Women's World Tour, as we said a moment ago, Marina Vos at the top of the leaderboard ahead of Longa Borghini and Van Vleuten. Emma Norsgaard still leading in the Best Young Riders classification ahead of Maria Novludskaya and Niamh Fisher-Black. SD Works lead in the World Tour team classifications ahead of Movistar and Trek Segafredo, and you can see there Team SD Works on the front working hard for Anna van der Breggen. Do you think after the sort of health issues that Anna's had in the weeks previously, she'll know to call it potentially the first time up the Huy, whether she feels she's got the legs today?
Yeah, and I think, you know, looking at the lineup of that team, they've got so many different cards to play. And I think it actually could be one for someone like Ashley Moolman-Pasio. It's such a unique one-day race for women. You know, with a finish like this, it's a really big opportunity for a rider like Ash. You don't see many women's races finishing up such kind of brutal climbs, and I think it's, you know, looking at that team lineup again, it could be for Ash, it could be for Demi. So like you said, Marty, I think Anna van der Breggen will call how she feels out on the road, but they've got so many different options within that team.
National champion of Canada, Caroline Canuel on the front here. Always a real workhorse for the team. She's a powerhouse. Is the Canadian national champion, does a phenomenal job. We're going to take a look at the Mur de Huy with our champion, Anna van der Breggen, and she's just going to talk us through a little bit about this famous climb.
Is, I think, mostly special because it's a crazy steep climb, but also because it's at the end of the race. So the final is already really hard, and then you have the Mur de Huy in the end. I don't really have a secret. It's just a final that fits me, and I think, of course, you need to pace it really well. So you need to know your body, and you need to know how deep you can go. If you go too early, you will blow for sure, and if you go too late, you won't win. 120k to do the Mur is actually, everybody should try it yourself, like when you feel really tired and then you go further on and then you see the sign of 150 meters and then it's still far, like, and it's just digging deep and then go again and again. That's a special feeling, but it's difficult to explain. You should experience it yourself just to know how it feels and how deep your body actually can go if you really want to. everybody knows you need to be in a good position before the real hard climb starts. So it's a big fight before, well, let's say 25 k's before the finish line. So yeah, you can absolutely lose it there. And also, if you're not on position on the second last climb, then you already have a problem. Like, the speed is so high always in between the second last and the last climb. But you always have to look also to the other girls and what they are doing. And if somebody really attacks, you need to follow anyway. So usually we have a plan to make the race hard before the mur already. And for me, it's just saving as much energy as possible. I would like a hard pace, because if we are waiting until on the mur and then make it a sprint in the end, probably I'm not going to win it. So I like to pace it on a really hard pace that's just good enough for me. That's not really a secret, it's just suffering up the mur.
Some insight there from Anna van der Breggen, the six-time winner of this race. You can see SD Works talking into the radio, the line running towards the Mur de Huy for the first time. And you can see now everyone just jockeying for positions here, just moving up. So you've got Maddie Garcia, you can see Spanish national champion there in that white jersey with the red and yellow bands. Our breakaway group though, wearing 34, the Swiss national champion Elise Chavi from Canyon SRAM for Jumbo Visma in the yellow and black. Anna Henderson, the young Brit, one of the real exciting sensations in the new Jumbo Visma team, and World Cyclocross champion Lucinda Brand. If you were with us on Eurosport GCN over the winter, you will have seen Lucinda Brand there wearing 22 dominate the cyclocross season, but back on the road and really has found her road leg. Let's run you through your other teams and who you're watching out for today. You can see Talita de Jong there in the light blue with the red right in the centre next to Marianne Vos, who's wearing that burgundy coloured women's World Tour jersey. You've got Team DSM today with the likes of Juliette Labousse, who's wearing 42. The Movistar team, Annemiek van Vleut, never won this race. She finished second on a couple of occasions. Lauren Stevens and Sarah Gigante for Team Tibco, potentially. Liv Racing, Sarai Paladin's getting up towards the front at the moment. You see Liv Racing in the purple jerseys when we get down there. For Sarah Tizet, WNT, watch out for the Italian climber. Erica Magnaudi was going well in the previous races. Lotto Sudala here, Valcar Travel and Service with the likes of Alicia Miria Arzufi, Parkatel Valkenburg, AR Monex. They've got Maria Novolodskaya, who's up there in the Women's World Tour. Also great climber in Ida Marino, Katia Ragusa, Arlena Sierra, who's finished well in this race previously. Drops Lacole, Joss Loudon, who of course went so well, fifth in Brabant Chapelle, Anna Christian, Danny Christmas, Sarah Penton and Alice Towers. Arkea with the likes of Gladys Verhulst. You've got Kogas Metier, the Dolcini Van Eyck team Rally with good climbers such as Clara Kloppenberg. The B-Pink team, Camilla Alessio and Andy Schleck Racing, they are here. 33 kilometres to go. 48 seconds is your time gap. Danny, just talk us through the run-in to the Mur, because it's quite a chaotic run-in. Then you hit these lower slopes, and then for anyone that hasn't seen this climb before, you get into the real steep, parts of this climb, up through the corners, up towards the top.
Yes, so as I was saying earlier, 9.5k from the top of the penultimate climb. Then it's the descent off that climb and a really fast run in then to the town of the Mur de Huy. And you can see the riders now just starting to climb up. Then essentially it gets steeper as the climb goes. So with 1k to go, it ramps up to 12% for around 400 meters. And then it kicks up to 19% for 100 meters. 300 meters at 13 to 14%, and then the final 200 meters it levels off. I say levels off, it's still 6%. But as Anna said, I thought it was really interesting, her interview, Marty. You know, if someone attacks, you have to follow. So it's not really a case of, you know, biding your time and really thinking about how to pace this climb. You have to follow those in front, and it's all about positioning. The riders will already have been going hard to try and fight for their position at this stage of the climb, coming into the bottom. And then it's all about this around a 4-minute effort of going hard, going deeper, and finding something extra within yourself to keep digging and pushing harder as as your legs are screaming out in pain.
And you can see already the size of that peloton behind. Marianne Vos saying in pre-race interviews that it could come down to a breakaway. It doesn't always come down to a real bunch kick up here. We can see that already the peloton whittled down to quite select number of teams. Elise Chavi on the front, the Swiss rider. That's the tribute to Claude Croquillon, the Belgian cyclist, I think was from Puy, and passed away a few years ago, but was a real champion, former world road race champion, and that is his tribute on this climb. Elise Chabi, another of our peloton doctors, a former kayaker, canoeist as well. I think represented Switzerland in the 2012 Olympics on the water. And onto this climb, you now get to see it, and Anna Henderson just starting to just lose a tiny bit off the back of Elise Chabi, and Lucinda Brown just battles her way back in here. Marlon Rooser, it looks from that long shot for a late BTC Ljubljana. So we're just having a glance down the riders here. This is Leanne Ganser on the front, the rider from Rally. It's Krista Dobell-Hickok, my apology, in the orange from Rally Pro Cycling. Good to see them here. Ruth Winder in that Stars and Stripes National Champions jersey of the USA. Leah Thomas, also of the USA, coming through in the blue of Movistar. There's Van der Breggen in that rainbow jersey. Erica Magnaudi, we're seeing, is still in there as well. So good to see Erica Magnaudi still in there for the Sarah Tizet WNT team. 22 seconds though is the gap, so this is you getting an opportunity to see the finish line for the first time today. So up the Mur for once, then we go around, climb the Côte d'Oref, which is 2.1k at 19.1 to go. Then the Côte de Chemin de Guest with 9.6 to go. Amanda Spratt, you can see there in the white, black and Celeste coloured jersey of Bike Exchange, close to the front. Cassia Nuvia-Doma, Michaela Harvey is still here. Annemiek van Vleuten in that European Champions jersey that you can see there. Longo Borghini there in her Italian National Champions jersey, not far away from the front. Soraya Paladin, there's Neve Fisher Black, who's also still well into the group here. So still very select. It really is our big names, all still very much in that group at the moment, Danny.
It is, and you could just see how composed the riders like Elisa Longo Borghini was riding there, and this already whittled down peloton. You can see that the race has already been hard up to this point because we already have a select group in that peloton behind. These three riders now just crossing the finish line all together now. Three really good riders in their own right, Lucinda Brand, Elise Chabi and Anna Henderson, who have all performed really well already this season. Leah Thomas in the middle in the Movistar colours, just talking into her radio there. I'm sure they will be riding for Annemiek van Vleuten. So you can see riders really struggling over the top. I'm sure these riders will get back into contention with this peloton. Generally what happens is they come over the top, the peloton will regroup, or what's left of the peloton. Now it looks to only be between 20 and 30 riders left, and then it will be a fight for the last lap. 31.5 kilometers, 3 climbs, and the riders, we know SC Works are going to try and make it hard. They've got such an incredible lineup. We saw Neve Fisher Black there riding with such composure just in the middle of that front group coming over the Mur de Huy. You can see it's lined out up this section of road. It will regroup, I'm sure, and then it will be a real fireworks coming into the finale.
Going through the feed, Anna Henderson just grabs, takes the opportunity there to grab a bottle. You can see beautiful sunny day here for the FLÈCHE WALLONNE today. If you are just joining our coverage, welcome aboard. And looking down through our pre-race favourites, most of them still in the group behind, with the real climbers coming through to the front. The breakaway being shown there, 30 seconds from the blackboard, just the 3 riders. Good makeup of this group, and Lucinda Brand, a great rider to have in this breakaway group. If you're watching on the TV, we're going to take a short break. If you're watching on the Eurosport app or GCN Plus, stay with us. Lucinda Brand has a glance back to the breakaway group. They're over the Mur de Huy for the first time. And Anna Henderson, good to see Anna in this breakaway group today, Danny. She's really has stepped up and embraced the opportunity of joining this Jumbo-Visma team.
She absolutely has, Martin. She's done a really good job stepping up at this level of racing, still at such a young age. She's only 22. She's only been riding on the continent for a couple of years. She rode for Team Timco in 2019. That was her first year in a UCI team. 2020, Team Sunweb, and now in 2021, Team Jumbo-Visma. She rode an absolutely fantastic race in Ghent-Wevelgem, where she was again in a breakaway, and it seems to be, her. She works really well in a breakaway situation. She's so good at positioning. She was an ex-downhill skier, so she's got that confidence to ride at the front of the bunch. And if we look at her descending skills, they're absolutely phenomenal. And I think that already gives Anna the real almost leg up and one up for the age that she is. She's already got that skill as a rider, of the technicalities of bike riding. So now it's just almost for Anna a focus on her physiological makeup and skills as a bike rider. She doesn't have to work on the technicalities that we talk about a lot, Marty, with descending skills and positioning within a bunch, which we know is paramount to a result on the road. So you can see here all your hitters: Anna van der Breggen, number 61, Annemiek van Vleuten as well. For those three teams that are out front, they can really relax, and it's putting the pressure on SD Works now to have to chase. You can see Caroline Canuel now in the Canadian colours, really setting the precedent for SD Works, trying to make this race hard. We know that's what they want to do. We heard it from Anna van der Breggen. That is their most likely chance of winning, to have a hard race, and that's what they're trying to do now.
So good to see the Jumbo-Visma team just policing this one. Marianne Vos has just been, after that win in the Amstel Gold Race at the weekend, really has looks on phenomenal form. Does Marianne Vos. There's the gap from our lead group back to the chasers. Annemiek van Vleuten keeping herself very much to the front of this one. You're rejoining us on our linear coverage. Welcome back. Our breakaway group still clear. Lucinda Brand of Trek Segafredo on the front. Swiss national champion is Xabi of Canyon SRAM, and then Anna Henderson of Jumbo-Visma is the third member of the breakaway group. 23 seconds, and it is SD Works. You've got to say the team of the season, the team that lead the World Tour overall, the team of Anna van der Breggen, the 6-time winner of this race. If you're watching out for Marianne Vos today, you're not looking out for the yellow and black Jumbo-Visma colours, we'll point her out to you. She's wearing the leaders jersey in the Women's World Tour, which is a burgundy colour. As we'll point her out in the peloton. There's Soraya Paladin. As we go down through the group, there's Ruth Winder, the Brabantse Pijl. There's Annemiek van Vleuten, Cassia Nuvia-Doma. There's Marianne Vos, just up here, just in front of Corin Rivera. So good to see Corin there wearing 45. And let's hear from Marianne Vos, our World Tour leader. She spoke to us just ahead of the race.
Now that you've won the Amstel, are you coming to La Flèche with lots of confidence?
Well, of course it's a new race with new chances for everybody, and yeah, of course there's not a lot of pressure after the win in Amstel, so it's nice to be here and just to be ready to give it another try and yeah, to go for a nice race with the team.
It's a race that you have won several times. Is an important race for you?
Well, I think yeah, of course, I have some good memories there. But like today, it will be hard, and there will be a lot of different opportunities for different riders, and yeah, we are prepared to suffer in the race and so it will be a tough race.
So the desire is there before the start of the race. The desire is there.
Of course, we always have the desire to race. I mean, it's a big race week, and yeah, it's nice to be here and yeah, to be here to give it a try.
Will be decided in the Wall of Louis, the best one will win?
I don't know. There's also a chance of a breakaway. It often ends up in a small group going up to the Muur, but who knows? It might be the first time, and or not the first, but one of the first times that the breakaway sticks. So I think we need to be prepared for a fight already before the Muur.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you.
So Marianne Vos, there's Ashley Moore-Pasio wearing 4. So there's Ida Marino wearing 152 for Monex, and Ash had a couple of tumbles today, Danny.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Ash. I know she's been super motivated for this race, especially it's one that really suits her and probably one of her only chances in a one-day race for a victory, with her looking at her strengths as a bike rider. So that's always a shame for a rider to crash. It always takes out of you somewhat, even if you're, you know, not having to get off your bike because you are too injured to carry on. But hopefully for Ash, she'll be able to get back into this group. She's just at the back of this group now, get composure. She's got her team working at the front now. They are now under a little bit of pressure. Obviously, you've got Trek Segafredo at the front here with Lucinda Brand, who will be working for Italian Elisa Longo Borghini. Jumbo Visma with Anna Henderson, obviously working for Marianne Vos. And Elise Shabby for Canyon Shram in the red colours, number 34, riding for Cassie and Uedoma. So for SD Works, they have got a little bit of pressure now, Marty, but they did want a hard race. We obviously heard from Anna van der Breggen, and she said that it's, you know, for their chance of winning this race, it's best if it is a tough race. So they are going to have to keep an eye on this gap. It is slowly coming down now at 21 seconds, so they are still very much in control, but they will have to not become complacent and, you know, really bide their time and wait to the right moment to really chase. But for the other teams, I think it's going to be down to SD Works to chase, looking at their lineup especially. So yeah, a lot still to come. 3 climbs on this course. It's Anna Shackley now on the front for SD Works.
The young Scottish rider on the front with Nee Fisher-Black behind her. So the young riders, the teammate Anna van der Breggen was talking about Nee Fisher-Black and Anna Shackley in sort of pre-race interviews on the SD Works interviews that they were putting out. So a lot of attention around those riders. Of course, this is Anna van der Breggen's final FLÈCHE WALLONNE. She's retiring at the end of the season, is going to move from bike to team car next year, is Anna. So her young teammates, the New Zealander Nee Fisher-Black and the British rider Anna Shackley, I'm sure will get plenty of opportunities to shine in this one. And then you have Team S Bike Exchange lined up. Let's hear from Elisa Longo Borghini, just moving up there in the Italian national champions jersey on the wheel of Ruth Winder.
So, Elisa, you have shown in the stand that you are the strongest when it comes to climbing. Does that make you the favorite today?
Yeah, I'm going into this race. I'm pretty confident. I know that I can do a good result. It's a special race, so everything can happen here, and I know that my form is good. I know I can be up there or extremely drop. So let's see what's going on.
Guillaume, here, is this time only the victory counts or the podium is okay?
No, the podium is okay. It's not as everybody was speculating about Sunday. Everybody makes mistakes, you know, sometimes, and the podium really counts.
Are you still beware of Van der Breggen here at La Flèche?
In every race, I'm really aware of her. He's a rider that I respect a lot, and he's so strong. There is a reason why she's wearing that jersey, you know. So Anna is always the beacon of the race when it's up to a hard race. So you all look for her.
Possible to beat her in the wall of V?
Yeah, if you are stronger than her, but I don't know. You have to climb it first.
Thank you.
Elisa Longoborghini, always a great interview, isn't she, Elisa? Always very philosophical. Always a good quote, is Elisa.
Yeah, I always love listening to Elisa. She just ultimately says it how it is, doesn't she, Marty? You know, it's going to be up to the climb. She could win, or she could be extremely dropped. I don't think it'll be the latter, that's for sure. And I would love to see Elisa win this race. I know it would mean a lot to her. A real passion fan of cycling is Elisa, and she works extremely hard. I've ridden with her for a number of years in the same team. It is a race that suits her. And I think she will also profit off a hard race. I think looking at the riders, the older, more experienced riders, is who really profits off the race being hard come the finale. So I think it'll work in her favour, and it's fantastic for her to have teammate Lucinda Brand up the front in that group of three. And SD Works are really committed now, and this break isn't coming back. It's actually going up now, the gap at 29 seconds. I think obviously we'll see the gap tumble when it comes to the climbs, especially if they're really aggressive coming into the climbs itself. But for now, these three are doing a fantastic job off the front to keep that gap at around the 30-second mark.
And always good to have someone like Lucinda Brand in the breakaway group. Phenomenal road rider, had such a successful cyclocross season, and could she potentially take this group away here? 22.8 to go. Lucinda Brand in this breakaway, Henderson and Shabby. So three big teams: Trek Segafredo, Jumbo Visma and Canyon SRAM. That's the reason why you have Team SD Works on the front, working so hard to get this one under control. Jumbo Visma today, clearly the team orders for Jumbo Visma today, and we've also got Anuska Costa, who's in that chasing group. Another interesting rider that we've also got in this chasing group for Jumbo Visma is this rider here, Julie van der Velde, who I was literally just about to mention. And great climber is van der Velde, and just on the back of the group here, so I'm not sure, she's just descending on the back. And I think, having looked back over the last sort of few years of Julie's career, she used to ride with Lotto Soudal, and phenomenal climber, was up there in Grazia Orlova a couple of years ago when Marta Bastianelli took that one. Climbs phenomenally well, and I think for her, looking over the last couple of races as well, I think this Jumbo Visma team, and you talk about the Vos effect, because you've been, when you were in the team with Mariana, I'm quite interested to see where Julie's career goes now for the Dutch rider.
Yeah, for sure. She was 14th in this race in 2019, so she's definitely got the talent to be able to get a result for herself. And like you say, Marty, the Mariana Vos effect is very, very strong. I rode with her in my final year in 2018, and you almost step up straight away when you've got a rider like Mariana in the team. She's always there to offer advice and help. She doesn't just kind of sit back and let you get on with it. She's very much part of the team and is always there to offer that support, which is great. And she can read a race so well, so especially if you've got communication within the race on the team radio, you can learn so much off Mariana Vos. in terms of where and when to use that power. And you can see now SD Works are really putting the hammer down. They're using this climb to try and get this gap closed. This is the Côte d'Eref. So it's 2.1 kilometers, averages out at 5%. So it's Ashley Moolman-Pasio now on the front for SD Works. Ruth Winder closely followed behind for the Trek Segafredo team in those American national champs colours.
And Corin Rivera just starting to get distanced, as is Anna Henderson just from the breakaway group now. Lucinda Brandt, pressure on this climb. You can see the gradient in the bottom corner of your screen, 7% at this point. Back to the group. Moolman-Pasio has a glance back over the shoulder. Winder, Spratt, Labousse, and Michaela Harvey all towards the front of the group. Here comes Nee Fisher-Black back up towards the front here. Michaela Harvey for Canyon SRAM could be a good rider to watch today. Corin Rivera, she's finished top 10 in this race before, the American on the back here. Talita de Jong just ahead of her. I think this is Elena Sierra just ahead of them with Caroline Canuel. Sandra Lemonet is just starting to get dropped as well for Arkea, but Moolman-Pasio really is upping the pressure now, and you can see the gap to the breakaway group now, tumbling under the pressure of the South African rider on the front. So interesting to see now for SD Works, and with Anna Henderson straight back into the group now, this changes the dynamic for Jumbo-Visma as well now.
It does, but I do think they're going to leave it up to SD Works. You can see with Ashley Moolman-Pasio on the front, she's either gone into work mode for the team after her crashes, or she's feeling incredible out there today, because I know this is a race that she is really passionate about winning herself. But it is SD Works now. The gap is tumbling down at 12 seconds, and now there's only two out the front with Lucinda Brand and Elise Shabby. It's going to be really tough for those two riders to stay away. This is the longest climb on this short circuit now of 31.2 kilometers, but it's 20 kilometers to go now. It's Nee Fisher-Black on the front for SD Works, phenomenal climber, and Ashley Moolman-Pasio is coming back again. So she has gone into an attack mode, Ashley Moolman-Pasio, so she's obviously feeling incredible today, even after her crashes, to take on an attack like this so early still in this race. Ruth Winder is following from the Trek Segafredo team, and this is really going to show who's feeling good at this point in the race.
Ida Marino's interesting here in the black for Monex, getting dropped. Great climber is Ida Marino. Not got the legs today though, and it's Ashley Moolman-Pasio and Ruth Winder with our two leaders, Elise Shabby and Lucinda Brand, that are still leading it. It's 5 seconds. And this mixes up now, interesting dynamic. We will see, Marianne Vos said in her interview that we heard a little while ago that it could come down to a breakaway group, and you can see just how much the pressure of Ashley Moolman-Pasio now is shredding this front group. If you have a look around here, Ruth Winder for Trek Segafredo on great form. This is Brodie Chapman, Kristen Faulkner just in front of her. Serena Stultins is the rider there. Vita Musique, Lucy Kennedy, she was wearing 73 there for Bike Exchange. She could have been an option for them today. The young French rider Musique though just on the back as Canyon SRAM. Michaela Harvey right on the back of the group here. Kennedy just trying to pedal across, but now Ruth Winder goes for Trek Segafredo. So they've got plenty of options to play today. They know that Elisa Longo-Borghini could potentially just sprint this one out on the climb, and Shabby is the rider here who's just been caught, that's going to have to do the work to try and pull back Ruth Winder. But Winder on amazing form at the moment.
She is, and we know Ruth Winder is on good form. She won really closely with Demi Vollering and Brabants de Pijl. She's really happy to take that win, and she said in the post-race interview that she was having the season of her career in terms of the form that she had and how she felt on the bike. And we know that the Trek Segafredo team have collaborated really, really well together this year. They're all they've got so much morale within the team, and I think it's really helped them having Giorgia Bronzini and Ina Teutenberg. Another attack now from Team SD Works. It looks like Demi Vollering, potentially. I didn't quite catch that number for SD Works. They're obviously riding such an aggressive race here today, Marty.
Demi Vollering it is that's gone, and it's Annemiek van Vleuten that's straight on her. Demi Vollering, dangerous rider, and she was the second place in the Amstel Gold Classic on Sunday. Just the progress of Demi Vollering. If you were right with us at the top of our program, third place here for Demi Vollering last year, and these are the races that we know that she loves. This is her stomping ground. Is Demi Vollering, and Annemiek van Vleuten straight on her there, Danny. Van Vleuten again, another rider. She hasn't won this race, but Ruth Winder really has set things up now.
She has, and what an incredible team tactic from Trek Segafredo. For the likes of Elisa Longo Borghini, she can purely just follow now, and it really does put pressure on SD Works, and they're using up their riders. We said this morning what an incredible team they've got, but they are forcing their team to use energy and having to chase already and respond to attacks like this today. So incredible riding from Ruth Winder and the Trek Segafredo team. They used a similar tactic in Trofeo Alfredo Binder to set Elisa Longo Borghino up for that victory today. So this is a fantastic ride from Trek Segafredo.
And Elise Chabi, she's got magic legs today, or as Adam Blythe likes to say, she's got diamonds in the legs today, potentially, the way she's going in this one.
She absolutely has. To be able to attack again after being caught in that group of three is really impressive. Ruth Winder now getting into that aero tuck position to try and profit off any speed that she's got on this descent.
There's your gap back to Elise Chabi. If you're watching us on our linear coverage, we're going to take a short break. If you're with us on Eurosport app, GCN Plus, stay with us. 17.1 kilometers to go. Still plenty of climbs to come in this one. So we've got the Côte du Chemin du Guess with the summit of that comes with 9.6 kilometers to go. It's a 1.8 kilometer climb, averaging at 6.5%. Then we get the run in back towards the Mur de Brie. 1.3 kilometers is that climb. This is a gutsy move now from the US national champion, showcasing that Stars and Stripes jersey. Started last year in phenomenal fashion, winning stages and the general classification in the Tour Down Under. Then we, as we know, the world went into lockdown, and she has started this year in great form yet again. Has Ruth Winder? She's won stages of the Giro Rosa. She's got that. She comes from that track background. She's been a world team pursuit champion, and then the Swiss champion here for Canyon SRAM in that breakaway group with Lucinda Brand and Anna Henderson being caught and then going again. So good to see the Swiss rider off the front, but trying to close down the gap up to Ruth Winder. 17 seconds. This is a dangerous move for that group behind. You think potentially they're going to sort of gauge their chase here towards that penultimate climb?
Yeah, absolutely. I think not dangerous potentially in terms of the win, but it's dangerous and it's going to affect SD Works. This is absolutely perfect for the team of Trek Segafredo, for the Italian Elisa Longo Borghini. They can ultimately just sit back and let the team of SD Works chase, as can Canyon SRAM. So for Cassie and Uedoma as well, the pressure's off at this moment with Elise Chabi just off the front. It's forcing the other teams to chase, putting pressure on the different teams. It looks like it's Liv racing now. Soraya Paladin, they've still got in this move, who's taking up the chase. Bike Exchange as well, they'll be riding for the likes of Lucy Kennedy, who's finished up on the 14th in last year in 2020 as well. FDJ will be riding for Cecilia Uttrup Ludwig, who finished second in this race. She's another rider that could potentially win today as well. You can see her just on the right hand side in number 11, just towards the back of this group. Number 4 as well, Ashley Mormon-Passio's just sitting back now. She's biding her time. She's had a couple of crashes already today, but she's still looking good, and again a rider that's very passionate about winning this race. But now, you know, looks like the pressure is coming out of this group. Maybe SD Works are going to risk it all and wait for the finish. Now they've had to burn some matches in that chase to chase those 3 that were away a couple of kilometers ago. But for Ruth Winder, this is a fantastic ride.
Welcome back. If you're rejoining us, 15.4 kilometers to go, 25 seconds is your time gap. But Elise Chabi being caught, the Canyon SRAM rider, the pressure goes straight out of that peloton. And Danny, you can see the gap there jumps to the Trek Segafredo rider from the USA, Ruth Winder.
It does, and I think if I was any other team than SD Works, I would just be sitting back and just waiting for them to do the chasing. Ultimately, you know, they've got Anna van der Breggen still there, Caroline Canuel, Naya Fisher-Black, Ashley Mormon-Passio, Anna Shackley, I believe, is still there, and Debbie Vollering. So for the other teams, you know, the SD Works are not just going to let Ruth Winder take this easily, and I think they will going to have to form a chase at some point. I don't think they can wait until the Mer de Huy, but for Ruth Winder now, she's just got to focus on her own power, trying to find the fastest lines through these corners. She's got 4 kilometers to go until the penultimate climb, which we know is the Côte de Chemin, which was new in 2020, replacing the Côte de Sharif, but similar. So it's 1.8 kilometers, 6.5% average, 9.k to go from the top. And Elise Chabi has gone again. She's obviously has got diamond legs today, Marty. She's found something to go again, and she has got a gap from this peloton. The peloton's starting to chase again. A replay. This is Elise Chabi's attack. Perfectly timed attack, coming from the back, catching the riders by surprise, so the gap is already there. That's when we find that the attacks are most successful, when riders can catch the peloton by surprise and that gap forms. It generally means the riders are looking at each other as to who is going to chase, and it already gives the rider who's attacked that time to get the gap and form the breakaway or the solo breakaway. So we've got Ruth Winder here. Another fantastic descender in the peloton. You can see the speed that Ruth Winder's got now in her biggest gear, smallest cassette on the back, biggest chainring at the front. 26 seconds now the gap.
Good move here by Ruth Winder. As Danny said, if you were with us for Trofeo Alfredo Binda, you would have seen Ruth Winder set up the attack by Elisa Longo-Borghini in that one. But Canyon SRAM clearly today wanting to take the pressure off. Danny, would you say Cassia Nuviadoma and Michaela Harvey, who we both know would fancy their chances of just a sprint finish up the Mur?
Yeah, I totally agree. So Michaela Harvey was 7th in last year's edition, and Cassia Nuadoma was 10th last year. But Cassia's been top 10 in 5 editions, and she's had a podium in 2017. Looking at her form as well, Marty, she performed incredibly well in Amstel Gold. I think Cassia sometimes attacks too early, but this is an absolutely perfect move from the Canyon SRAM team to send Elise Chabi up the road. It really does take the pressure off the Polish rider Cassia Nuadoma. She can just sit back and follow the big names, Elisa Longo-Borghini, Anna van der Breggen, who we know is the queen of this race. She's won 6 times. No male or female has ever won 6 consecutive races like FLÈCHE WALLONNE. Ruth Winder now looking good. She's got her head down, just getting into that rhythm. But I think it could be a day for Cassie and Nieuwedoma as well. They've ridden phenomenally well as a team, and we heard in the interview of Anna van der Breggen that we heard earlier in this race that when a team performs so well for you, you almost get an extra, you find that extra power to perform for the team because they've done such a good job. So I think Cassia should be able to find something extra, as will Elisa Longo Borghini come the finish, because they've had such incredible work from their teammates today.
Elise Chabi here for Canyon SRAM. Last year she was on the way to Strada Bianca when the call came through that one had been cancelled. Just got the call, went straight back into the into work as a doctor, and did that for much of last year while training around her shifts. Back to our peloton, and it's Leah Thomas and Katrina Allerud on the front here for Movistar. For Annemiek van Vleuten, I'll run you through who I've got so far that's still in your chasing group, just so that you know who you're watching as Ruth Winder starts to climb yet again in this one. It's pretty much up and down all day in La Flèche Wallonne. We're on to the next climb, the penultimate climb of the race. Expect fireworks in this one. The Côte du Chemin du Guest, 1.8 kilometres, averaging out at 6.5%. Oh, Elise Chabi's gone down on the corner there. And get a replay of that. Comes round, looks like she came around a little bit tight round the corner there from the look of it.
Yeah, that's not what you want, Marty, when you're away. I think we're going to get a replay of this now. She just comes around the corner. Ooh. And just slid out there. Didn't pick the right line. Shabby.
Yeah, it just looks like she just caught some dirt on the side of the road there. Did Elise, and let's have a. It's Katrina Allerud on the front here for Movistar, and then you've got Anna Shackley, Maria Novolutskaya, you've got Annemiek van Vleuten, Cecilia Trup Ludwig on the climb. Katrina Allerud here, the Norwegian rider, has been training a lot with Annemiek van Vleuten this winter. So our chaser, Elise Chabi, swept up by the group behind. So at the moment you've got Krista Dobell-Hickok from Raleigh, you've got Spratt, Santesteban, I think it is, and Lucy Kennedy from Bike Exchange. She's just starting to get distance on the back here. Leah Thomas, Katrina Allerud and Annemiek van Vleuten. As we go, and it's Van Vleuten now makes her move with Elisa Longo Borghini, Cecily Uttrup Ludwig, Anna van der Breggen here, Amanda Spratt, Demi Vollering, all reacting, Cassia Nieuwedoma, Juliette Labousse, all reacting, Mavi Garcia also still in the group here for LA BTC Ljubljana. Uttrup Ludwig looking good out the saddle here for FDJ, but this climb, the penultimate climb of the day, Annemiek van Vleuten starts trying to get clear here. There's Marianne Vos on the yellow and black bike in that burgundy coloured World Tour leaders jersey. Van Vleuten keeping the pressure on here. Doesn't look like she's got that, we haven't seen that kick, that jump, the gap that she's getting. Longo Borghini straight on her here for Trek Sega Fredo.
This is classic Annemiek van Vleuten. The longer climb in this last lap of Flèche Wallonne. 900 meters to go, and you can see now who is going to be fighting for that victory, Marty. Who's got the legs today? There was Elisa Longo Borghini there, Cecilia Uttrup Ludwig, Cassie Nieuwedoma is there. Marianne Vos just fighting on the back. Amanda Spratt is there for Team Bike Exchange. Van Vleuten is not giving up. This is the time for Van Vleuten to try and close this gap. It's coming down fast, 16 seconds now, the gap to Ruth Winder. These are arguably your riders that are going to be fighting for the finish. Marianne Vos has been distanced from that group behind as well. Sabrina Stutens from Liv Racing.
Erica Magnaudi on the back here, Katrina Allerud, Maria Novolutskaya is the rider in the black jersey from Monex. Van Vleuten though, out of the saddle. We know the sustained efforts that Annemiek van Vleuten can make on the climbs. The world champion Anna van der Breggen is there. This is a select group that's now going clear on the penultimate climb of the day. Marianne Vos, the open that she can use some of these climbers to potentially get back in to this one. The only rider in the peloton that's won 2 World Tour races so far this season. So there's Stutens there, as Novlodskaya just starts to pedal across the gap. Has Mavi Garcia managed to make it across for ABTC, Ljubljana, so your group, Van Vleuten, Longa Borghini, Uttrup Ludwig, Van der Breggen, the Cassia Nuvia Doma, Juliette Labous, Amanda Spratt from Bike Exchange. You got Demi Vollering that's also in there. It looks like Mavi Garcia has made contact now with the back of the group. So we've got one other SD Works rider that's in this group. We'll have a closer look as soon as we can get a glimpse of who it is that's in there. But still our leader, 13 seconds. Do you feel, Danny, here that they need to get Ruth Winder back over the top of this climb? Because potentially if they have that sort of easing and start to look around at each other, or do you think this group behind might learn from some of the races that we've had so far this season when they've all kind of looked around at each other, and the fact that Marianne Vos isn't in there and Demi Vollering is the rider here that's going for SD Works? Do you think we might start to see a little bit more continuity, a little bit more sort of working together?
I think they will work together, Marty. I don't think they'll be too worried about Ruth Winder at this stage with still the Mur de Huy to go. Ruth Winder just coming to the top of this climb. You can see the riders behind now. They're only 6 seconds behind Ruth Winder. So I think it's not really a chase now to catch Ruth. I think it's a race for these riders behind now for the victory. So it's Demi Vollering on the front with Van Vleuten on her wheel. Elisa Longo Borghini is just waiting. You would probably argue that Demi is working for Anna van der Breggen at this stage. She's just sitting in fourth wheel now behind. She wanted a hard race. She's got a hard race. She said in an interview before that it's not all about the Mur, but more about this climb as well, in terms of how their legs are feeling come the Mur. They have to dig in deep. They're already tired by the time they've hit the Mur. So it's about that fatigue resistance. Who has got the power to be able to go again and again and again? It's not that 1 4-minute effort. It's about having this climb with only 9 kilometers to go, and then they hit the Mur, and they have to do it again and again. But it's SD Works with 2 riders. It looks like Mavi Garcia now on the attack for Ale.
Good move. So Ruth Winder potentially just looking to try and get up here to work and help Elisa Longa Borghini into the Mur. Vollering flicks the elbow for Mavi Garcia. She didn't manage to get clear. Van Vleuten straight on her, but Ruth Winder persisting with this one over the top. 9k to go, 12 seconds is your time gap. So the gap just starting to go out just a touch, but again for Trek Segafredo, great move. Put Ruth Winder up the road. That could have been the instructions, couldn't it, from Ina Teutenberg. And now Van der Breggen goes. Anna van der Breggen, and potentially looking around this group, feels that she doesn't want to leave it to a sprint on the Mur, and the world champ goes. And it's Cecily Uttrup Ludwig that is with Anna van der Breggen, with Cassia Nuvia Doma, just trying to close the gap. And Anna, the pre-race interview, she said, could come down to a breakaway from that penultimate climb. Doesn't always come down to just a pure sprint up the Mur, and but Uttrup Ludwig gliding today, looking good. Cecily Uttrup Ludwig for FDJ.
She is. She was second last year. She's had a great season already so far. She hasn't had that victory. She's had third in Trofeo Binder, so she'll be looking at that victory for today. You'd say it really suits her as a rider. She's got that explosive power as well as that climbing prowess as well, but it's still Anna van der Breggen on the front for SD Works. Amanda Spratt now, so Team Bike Exchange on the right. Amanda Spratt, another rider who's really keen to better her results from the past. She's never podiumed in this race before, but she's obviously feeling good to be able to put the hammer down at this stage. Annemiek van Vleuten on the back.
Good move. Mavi Garcia straight with her. Amanda Spratt stepping into the leadership role of Team Bike Exchange. And those attacks, Annemiek van Vleuten and Anna van der Breggen here. You can see this group just stretching. That's Juliette Labous there, wearing 42 in the black and blue colours of DSM. Elisa Longa Borghini just ahead of her, and they're just going to go. They're just going to go one after the other here at the moment. Demi Vollering attacks for SD Works. So perhaps this is the move now for Vollering. We We know how strong she is. Garcia looks back. Nuviadoma is with her. Small gap, little flick of the elbow. Cassia Nuviadoma. We know the work ethic of the Canyon SRAM rider. Won't need a second invitation to come through. If you were with us for Amstel Gold, it was that move up the Cowberg that's between her and Elisa Longa-Borghini, and the pressure just off a little bit here, but Elisa Longa-Borghini for Trek Segafredo just pulls the gap back, but still sitting 20 seconds ahead of this group is the US national champion Ruth Winder.
What a ride from Ruth Winder. She's still out there today. 7.1 kilometers to go. The gap is still at 16 seconds. She's going to come down and have that long run into the Mur de Huy. So she's just got to get in time trial mode. You can see that group behind just about to go around this right-hand bend. Demi Vollering, she's one that could take victory today. 13th is the worst result she's had this season. She's had 6th in Strade Bianche, 5th in Flanders, 2nd in Brabantse-Pijl and 2nd in Amstel Gold. Can she get her arms in the air today? She's flicking the elbow behind. Cassia Nuadoma does not want to go through. She is not going to want to make the mistake that she made in Amstel Gold, where she went early with Elisa Longa-Borghini. Elisa did not want to work with Cassia, and it was Mariana Vos who took that victory in the last race of the season. The riders looking at each other now. That's going to help a rider, Ruth Winder, who we've got up the front. The gap is going up. 20 seconds now. The riders are almost stopped pedaling, Marty.
What gap would you say Ruth needs coming into the Mur to hold on, given the severity of the Mur?
Well, the Mur is so hard. I'd say she'd need over a minute. You know, the gaps can come down so fast on a climb like the Mur with, you know, the severity of the climb of over 20% averages in parts. So for Ruth, she's going to really have to put her head down now. But if the riders behind keep looking at each other, the gap's already 30 seconds. You can see it can go up very quickly if there is that lull in the chase group behind. No one wants to take it on. For Elisa Longa-Borghini, she is in the perfect position with Ruth Winder up the front. She can put her hands up and say, my teammate's up there, and it forces the other teams to chase. SD Works have got 2 riders in there, so the others could look around and say, it's up to you to chase. You've got 2 riders. You've got Anna van der Breggen and Demi Vollering. So it looks like Demi Vollering is taking that roll on. Anna van der Breggen just sitting about 5th wheel now in this chase group behind. What a finale.
It is. It really is lining up. 5.3 kilometers to go. Your solo leader for Trek Segafredo, the teammate of the Italian national champion, Elisa Longa-Borghini. Demi Vollering on the front here for Team SD Works. Cassia Nuviadoma is your chaser. Juliette Labousse, Cecily Uttrup-Ludwig, Annemiek van Vleuten, Mavi Garcia, Anna van der Breggen, and Van Vleuten. Amanda Spratt is on the back there for Team Bike Exchange, but Vollering is the rider that's having to do all of the work here to try and bring this breakaway back under control. The teammate of Ruth Winder, Elisa Longa-Borghini, the winner of the Trofeo Alfredo Binda, has been on great form. We know what she can do up a climb like this, but great tactics today from the Trek Segafredo team to put this rider up the road. The US national champion looking phenomenal out in front. You can almost sense every time we go back to that chasing group, you can sense the frustration of Demi Vollering on the front.
You can. Anna must be feeling good at this point to put Demi Vollering on the front, to commit to this all or nothing chase now back to Ruth Winder. She has got to the bottom of the descent, the final descent. Now it's a long straight run in. It's a really exposed road which won't work in Ruth Winder's favour. That chase group will be able to see Ruth as they descend and take this right hand corner as well onto this open road. They follow the river up to the Mur de Huy. Sorry, and then we are going to see fireworks. 3.6 kilometres to go now. Can Ruth Winder stay away?
She'll have to bury herself up the Mur de Huy for the final time, still holding 24 seconds advantage. It's a 1 against 1, you would say, at the moment, between your solo leader and the chasers behind, Ruth Winder to Demi Vollering, and then the who's who, you would say, minus Marianne Vos in that chasing group behind. Can the Trek Segafredo rider hang on? It's that moment, isn't it, Danny? You come in to a climb like this. It's just how much you've got left on the in the legs, in the tank, in that power pack going up this final climb.
That is what it's all about, Marty. It's that final 4-minute effort, but it's what you've had to give in the race beforehand that really sets riders apart. For Demi Vollering now, she's leaving it all on the table for Anna van der Breggen. She must have had the team orders to say Anna's feeling good. She thinks she could win this race because arguably Demi Vollering could win as well. So Anna van der Breggen has got the pressure on her shoulders now to pull it off for the team by sacrificing a rider like Demi Vollering who could win in her own right. She must be feeling good, arguably. But Ruth Winder is holding this gap now around 18 seconds. But we know how quickly a gap like that can come down on such a climb like the Mur de Huy. This is the straight runner now. They follow the river and then they will hit this famous climb. They will have to go hard, they will have to dig deep, and then they will have to keep digging again and again all the way up the climb. It gets steeper in sections and flattens out to 6% in the last 200 meters. 2 kilometers to go now for Ruth Winder. She's coming up to the climb. She's going to have to give it everything she's got to try and stay away.
It really is setting up for a real charge up the Mur de Huy. Don't discount the likes of Amanda Spratt, the Aussie. She's won mountaintop finishes in the Giro Rosa. Remember we went up to Garola Alta in the Giro Rosa when she took that stage victory up there. She's now the leader of Team Bike Exchange. It's going to be SD Works, Demi Vollering, that leads in to the final climb of the day, the ascent, the Wall of Huy, for her teammate, world champion, wearing that rainbow jersey, Anna van der Breggen. You've got Cassia Niewiadoma right on the front. Juliette Labousse, the DSM rider, phenomenal climber, is the French rider sitting third wheel. Mavi Garcia for LABTC Ljubljana, the Spanish champion you can just see on the right of your picture. Cecily Uttrup Ludwig. I think the world would celebrate Cecily Uttrup Ludwig finally taking that big World Tour victory. They are now looking for the Flamme Rouge across the road, and then it's the charge up the Mur de Huy. And does Ruth Winder have enough in the tank to give one last huge effort up this climb to take the FLÈCHE Wallonne?
Here we go, Marty. Who has got the most in their legs in the finale of this race? 130 kilometers racing, and it's going to come down to the last 1 kilometer. Will Cassia Niewiadoma go too early like she has done before? Will she be patient and bide her time? Who's got the legs? Juliette Labousse, Cecily Uttrup Ludwig. Will she take the victory? She was on the 2nd place podium. Amanda Spratt now moving up for Team Bike Exchange. Annemiek van Vleuten, is she going to have to go early because she doesn't have that explosive sprint come the finish? And is Anna van der Breggen going to take her 7th consecutive victory? Ruth Winder now starts the Mur de Huy, the 7% start. We've got the brutal middle section of this climb up to 20% or upwards. It's such misleading stats of this climb, 9.6% average, but let me tell you, it hurts more than any other climb I've ever ridden. Anna van der Breggen now, they're going to catch Ruth Winder, and it's going to be a fight in this group behind.
It's like setting fire to your lungs and your legs simultaneously. Anna van der Breggen on the front. She knows exactly where she goes. She picks the same point every year. So Ruth Winder, a gutsy move by the Trek Segafredo rider. But now it's going to come down to the battle of the wall, the battle of the Mur de Huy. And Demi Vollering, work done. Mavi Garcia just getting distance very slightly. Van der Breggen on the front, though. Longo Borghini right on the wheel. It's almost a carbon copy of the previous years of this race, as Anna van der Breggen, Longo Borghini, Uttrup Ludwig, they're all poised and ready. They're all waiting. Van Vleuten, Niewiadoma, and then just a small metre or so gap back to Juliette Labousse.
Anna van der Breggen doing what she does best. She's riding and at her own tempo. She can decide the pace that she rides up this Murdergooi. She can leave something else left in her legs to attack. But can Longo Borghini do something? Cassie Nieuwedoma now just waiting. Can she be patient enough to wait and leave it all on the line at the right time? Anna van der Breggen setting the pace. Annemiek van Vleuten now in 4th position. Her head's just bowing. Cecilia Ludwig as well going backwards. Ruth Winder giving it everything she's got, but she's set it up perfectly for Italian teammate.
And now it's Van der Breggen and Nieuwedoma. Longo Borghini battles back. Annemiek van Vleuten, the shoulders are going. Is this going to come down to a battle between Van der Breggen and Nieuwedoma? Van der Breggen on the front, the only winner of this race since 2015. Annemiek van Vleuten tries to close the gap. Van der Breggen, the world champion, just ups the pace. Cassia Nieuwedoma just grinding out that rhythm. 300 metres now to go to the top. Your order there. So it's Van der Breggen, Nieuwedoma, Van Vleuten, Garcia, Longo Borghini, Cassia Nieuwedoma, matching Anna van der Breggen, pedal rev for pedal rev here at the moment. 13% is your gradient. Van Vleuten trying to find her way back. Nieuwedoma alongside Van der Breggen here. Nieuwedoma, this is almost a psychological battle as much as a physical one. Cassia just saying, I've got it, I know I'm here, I know I'm the strongest as well, I know I can challenge in this one. Look at that shot. Van der Breggen and Nieuwedoma just shoulder to shoulder, side by side here. Cassia has got to watch the timing here, as we said. Anna van der Breggen knows exactly when to go. Van Vleuten is not done. Can she put in the sustained effort now? But Cassia Nieuwedoma, now she decides to go, but Van der Breggen battles back, finds her way through. He says she knows she goes in the same place every year. You can see the support crew of Cassia Nieuwedoma just roaring her on from the side there. Van der Breggen glances back though. Nieuwedoma grits the teeth. Is it going to be another victory? It is. They are going to have to rename this the Ronde Van der Breggen, because she's going to take it yet again. The world champion at the top of the Murdergooi takes it yet again and makes history once again. Anna van der Breggen, your winner. Cassia Nieuwedoma, Longo Borghini throws the bike at the line and takes that 3rd spot on the podium from Annemiek van Vleuten. Absolute perfection, you would say, Danny.
Wow. She made that look easy, Marty. That was absolutely incredible for Anna van der Breggen there. She just waited, didn't she? She wasn't put off by Cassie Nieuwedoma trying to come round her with around 300 metres to go. Wow, amazing. She's done it again. 7 consecutive wins in the FLÈCHE WALLONNE. No one has ever done that on the men's side or the women's side. That will go down in history. It's her last season racing as a bike rider. Then, like you said, Marty, she's going to go into the team car and give her experience out to younger riders. But there is your winner, Anna van der Breggen. 7 years in a row. Phenomenal.
It's one thing to be, it's you know, one thing to come into this one, but this climb, you've raced this climb, and to be able to make that effort, she said in her interviews, she just knows this one. And what a team performance we had. You gotta hand it to them in terms of SD Works. Trek Segafredo did a phenomenal job today to really take it to SD Works. They had to eliminate Demi Vollering from the equation there, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I think it was really impressive actually, Marty, from the other teams to try and take it on, take on SD Works, who had such a formidable lineup, and they did leave it then down to Demi Vollering to have to do all the work. Thank goodness Anna van der Breggen had Demi Vollering, and this is the moment where Anna van der Breggen won the race.
Cassia, I love the battle there. It kind of echoes of Mavi, Garcia and Annemiek and Van Vleuten in Strade Bianche last year. Cassia did the right thing there, didn't she? Alongside Anna van der Breggen, just almost, as I said, just as we were coming up the climb, almost as much as trying to sort of show a psychological battle as much as anything else. But that's just something to behold. And there's a little sign on the side of the road, which is where she goes every single year.
Yeah, and the riders can't do anything about it. That's what's so incredible. But I think for Cassia Nieuwedoma, I would like to see her wait I know she's such a passionate rider, and what makes her so special. But I think if Cassie had waited and waited on Anna van der Breggen's wheel, maybe she would have had the legs come that last 200 meters. But wow, amazing! Anna van der Breggen has done it again. For Cassie and Uedoma there, just a bow of the head, second place. Again, a fantastic result from the Polish rider. And again, Elisa Longo-Borghini, she didn't give up there, just to pit Annemiek van Vleuten on the line for third spot. She said she'd be happy with a podium. The Trek Segafredo team, I don't think they could have done any more today.
There's your top 10. Anna van der Breggen takes it from Cassia Uedoma, Lisa Longo-Borghini, Annemiek van Vleuten, Mavi Garcia, Juliette Labous, Ruth Winder holds on for 7th, Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig, Amanda Spratt and Demi Vollering 7 times in a row for Anna van der Breggen. Ride of the day as well, you got to say, from Ruth Winder, staying in there for the top 10.
Really incredible to still have the legs to be in the top 10 was really great. And I think as well it's going to give Trek Segafredo even more confidence going forward. They rode really well today. You know, I don't think they could have done much more setting that up for Elisa Longo-Borghini. She didn't quite have the legs to take the victory, but again I think she'll be happy with the podium and her form as well going into the last Ardennes Classic with the Liège on Sunday. But those two, incredible ride today. Demi Vollering really did sacrifice herself in that finale. But the other teams took it to SD Works today. They had to use their matches early with the two young riders, with Niamh Fisher-Black and Anna Shackley having to chase early with that break that we saw go away with Anna Henderson, Lucinda Brand and Elise Chabi. Also, Ashley Monpassio crashing on multiple occasions today wouldn't have helped them, but they still managed to take that victory on the line 7 times, Anna van der Breggen. Cassie Uedoma, she did take it on. Did she take it on too early, or was that all she had left? Marty, again, I think she should be proud of her performance today.
Yes, indeed. And lining up, big day of cycling here on Eurosport GCN. You have Tour of the Alps today, and with Matt Stevens and Dan Lloyd. So that's stage 3 of Tour of the Alps. You ever watched that? Beautiful race. Just love going to that one. And then you've got the men's FLÈCHE Wallonne a little bit later on at with Carlton Kirby and Adam Blythe. So you'll be taking through that one with Carlton. Men's FLÈCHE starts the digital first at about 1300 CET. That's 12 in the UK, 14:15 on linear. So on the digital only, that's at 1. And then Tour of the Alps stage 3, I think, is coming up right after us here on the FLÈCHE Wallonne. But what a great race! What a day here on the Meurderie. And coming up this weekend, of course, we move on with the Women's World Tour. We move on to Liège. Bastogne-Liège for the next round of the Women's World Tour. What a great race that one is as well. We are into the Ardennes Classics, and you'll be able to join Danny and myself for Liège-Bastogne-Liège at the weekend. And those two young riders there, Anna Shackley, the Shack. I think we need some sort of 70s disco like theme tune jingle for the Shack for Anna Shackley. I think she deserves that. What ride she put in today. And Niamh Fisher-Black. You would expect them in years to come. Two phenomenal climbers are Anna Shackley and Niamh Fisher-Black. When you've got that rider in your team, if this is a race, they both talk about FLÈCHE Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and they're going to benefit from the experience of this rider as their sport director next year.
They absolutely are, and they've stepped up so well into this SD Works team to be able to perform at such a high level and be there in the crux of the race is really impressive. And I think they'll only make steps forward being in a team like this, with the experience of someone like Anna van der Breggen in your team to learn from. Is such an opportunity for those riders. So they're in the perfect place, Marty, to really develop into superstars in their own right. Elise Chabi, Lucinda Brand and Anna Henderson, was the start of the day, the story and how it really developed.
It was indeed, and this was your first time up at the Mur de Huy. I think I'm sure they'll adopt her soon. I'm sure they'll call her Vanda Henderson soon. So I'm sure with Jumbo-Visma she'll be adopted by the Dutch riders in the Jumbo-Visma team. This was the race, 30 seconds with Chabi, Brandt, and Henderson on to the next climb of the day, and this you saw already up the Mur de Huy. Danny had already come down to a select group, and from this point on, really, when Anna Henderson was dropped there from that leading group for Jumbo-Visma, then we started to see the likes of Ashley Moore-Pasio and SD Works come through to the front, and Nee Fisher-Black and Anna Shackley. What a great job they did for the team today.
They absolutely did, Martin. That is what we generally see in this race. It's very attritional up to this point. And then in this last 30-kilometre lap, we see fireworks. It was Ruth Winder that really set it up, the ride of the day for me, with Ruth Winder from the Trek Segafredo team, riding for Elisa Longo Borghini, who took third place today. This is where she attacked. Her gap went upwards of 30 seconds, which she held for the majority of this last lap. This is where the riders, Anna van der Breggen, took it on at her own pace, her own tempo. It was such a psychological and a physical battle. She stayed composed. She stayed in the saddle. She wasn't put off by Cassie and Nieuwedome, who started to come round her with 300 metres to go. Look at the composure and how Anna van der Breggen's riding. This is the first time she got out of the saddle on this climb with around 200 metres to go. Cassie and Nieuwedome gritting her teeth. You can see the pain that she's going through. And this is This is when Anna van der Breggen made that move.
And that's it. When she goes on this climb, she goes, and you saw that just setting the tempo, just riding within herself. She has ridden and won on this climb so many occasions. Shakes her head and crosses the line there. The world champion, 7 times win, and there's Elisa Longo Borghini, throws the bike at the line. How many times have we seen the throw to the line decide victories and podium positions? Here's your winner, Anna van der Breggen.
Well, Anna, yet another success for you on the FLÈCHE Wallonne, but this one seemed extremely difficult, no?
Yeah, it was. Maybe it's mostly about the Mur in the end, but the race was hard from the beginning on. The pace was really high on all the climbs, and I think we also made some tactical mistakes in the race, so we needed to chase. But yeah, the team did really great to fix that, and even in the end, Demi closed the gap almost to Ruth. Yeah, that's incredible. If you make a decision like that as a young girl, it says a lot about your future, I think also. And of course, I am really happy. I'm really happy that I could do it still, and yeah, I could take this win for the team.
Was this the most difficult one?
Yeah, I think you can say it a bit. Yeah, because we needed to chase quite some, and we didn't have to control all the race, so. Yeah, there was a bit more pressure also for me because the girls worked so hard already, and you just can give it all on the Mur. So I'm happy. It was a good battle with Kasia, I must say, and she was strong. But yeah, really happy I could win this one.
I suppose it must have been pretty emotional as well to win the FLÈCHE Wallonne again for the last time.
Yeah, it's a strange thought that I'm sitting here for the last time and do this race. But yeah, next year I won't bother the girls anymore. It's up to somebody else, and that's a good thing. I'm really happy to finish it off like this, and with 7 straight wins, it's incredible.
And now you have to win again in 3 days' time for Liège-Bastogne-Liège. That's the next goal, of course.
Well, I don't have to do anything. It would be nice, yes. I think the course suits me a bit less. It needs to be in the middle of the race then, because the finish is pretty flat. Yeah, I mean, we will see. We try our best again, but first enjoying today because, yeah, it's a really cool win.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Great interview there with our winner, Anna van der Breggen, and does 7 victories in a row. She said next year, It's going to be up to someone else to stand on the top step of the podium and take the victory in that one. If you're watching us on our linear TV coverage, we are going to take a short break. Be with us on digital. Stay right where you are. There it is, the mur. Van der Breggen and Nuvia Doma. So she did really take it to Anna van der Breggen. As you said, Danny, though, it's interesting to watch where Anna only gets out of the saddle for the first time, as you pointed out, right at that point there.
It's commitment, isn't it, Marty? At the end of the day, she's just waiting and waiting, and she doesn't want to use, you know, her energy or legs before she has to, and she knows that she's still got that power within herself, and she can be confident that she doesn't have to go earlier than when she's committed to that move. It was a real psychological and physical battle and perfection from Anna van der Breggen, and Cassia Nieuwedoma just couldn't quite hang on to Anna van der Breggen there, but she did take it on, and that was a really impressive ride. I think to even try and take it on to Anna van der Breggen, who's won this race now on 7 consecutive occasions, was impressive that she's got the legs and confidence to do so.
Elisa Longa-Borghini, they're going into today second in the World Tour standings behind Marianne Vos, who didn't make it into that group. And
Van der Breggen, who wins again.
Well, I am happy. I'm happy to get on the podium, and yet I'm also I wouldn't call it disappointed, but of course I wanted to win. So like you always have those mixed feelings, although I know that Anna is just the master of this climb. She knows it so well, and she won it for the 7th time, so I guess that says it all. Personally, I'm happy for the way how my team raced today, because I felt so comfortable from the start, from the beginning of the race, and that gave me this space in my head just to focus on the final, so that was really nice.
Yeah, a satisfaction to be second, and I know she's a friend of yours, but next year Anna van der Breggen won't be racing this race, so that's also good news, no?
Yeah, definitely that gives us this one extra spot, you know, to move up, especially on this climb, especially in this race. Of course, like, to be honest, with every passing year, the women's level is increasing, so sometimes you think like, okay, next year that person isn't racing, that person isn't racing, so I should be winning, but unfortunately it's not that easy.
Thank you very much, Kasia.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Nous rejoindra également en tant que meilleur jaune de ce circuit mondial. Voilà pour les différentes récompenses dont on reparlera avec les maillots distinctifs qui interviendront ensuite en deuxième partie de protocole.
welcome back. The shots around the historic city of Huy. Let's hear from Cassia Nieuwedoma of Canyon SRAM, who finished runner-up today, and a phenomenal performance from Cassia to take that second step on the podium.
What's the feeling right now after that tight battle with Anna van der Breggen, who wins again?
Well, I am happy. I'm happy to get on the podium, and yet I'm also I wouldn't call it disappointed, but of course I wanted to win, so like you always have those mixed feelings, although I know that Anna is just the master of this climb. She knows it so well, and she won it for the 7th time, so I guess that says it all. Personally, I'm happy for the way how my team raced today, because I felt so comfortable from the start, from the beginning of the race, and that gave me this space in my head just to focus on the final, so that was really nice.
Yeah, a satisfaction to be second, and I know she's a friend of yours, but next year Anna van der Breggen won't be racing this race, so that's also good news, no?
Yeah, definitely that gives us this one extra spot, you know, to move up, especially on this climb, especially in this race. Of course, like, to be honest, with every passing year, the women's level is increasing, so sometimes you think like, okay, next year that person is not racing, that person is not racing, so I should be winning, but unfortunately it's not that easy.
Thank you very much, Kasia.
Thank you so much.
Cassia Diviadona there from Canyon SRAM, great second place today. And Danny, you got to say, it's true, the level is just going up and up and up by so many riders year on year.
It is, and also riders step up in different years. So some riders who aren't winning this year might make a step up and be winning again next year. So really, riders can't become complacent. They need to change their training and the way they approach races year on year to be able to improve. But that was an incredible performance from Cassie and Nieuwedongen, and I think she should be very proud today.
She should. Indeed, as you said, sit back. You have so much live cycling on Eurosport GCN today. A tour of the Alps, Stage 3 with Dan Lloyd and Matt Stevens. You'll be able to join them for that race. Great race, Tour of the Alps. Make sure you tune in for that one. And of course, men's FLÈCHE WALLONNE. You will be able to join Carlton Kirby and Adam Blythe for that one. That's the 12 o'clock in the UK. That's 1300 CET. And then an hour and 15 minutes later, you'll be able to join that on the linear TV coverage. So that's 1 o'clock is CET, and then a little bit later on linear. 7 back-to-back victories, though, for Anna van der Breggen. From Marty McDonald, Danny Rowe. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.